What's up, Storm Nation? I'm Chad, and I'm joined by Nicole, and we are going to talk a lot about layouts today, and what better ball to do it with than the new Roto Grip XL. Now, Nicole, today is your third day on the job.
Yep.
Well, welcome. I heard you actually know how to drill a little bit.
A little bit, but I'm a little rusty on the layouts.
Oh, okay. Well, you're in the right place. So we're going to get you set up with a couple different layouts here and see if we can get you some different reactions on the lanes and get you on the right foot here at Storm.
Cool, sounds good.
Great. All right, Nicole, I saw you throw some shots. Now you have a lot of axis tilt and a lot of axis rotation, but I think your speed and your rev rate are pretty well matched. So I've got a couple layouts here for these balls that I think are going to work out well for you and give you enough of a difference between the two that you might want to take them in your bag everywhere you go. So the first layout is 4.5 by 4 by 2. So that's a stronger layout. It might be a little bit stronger than what you're used to. The ball's going to get offline a little bit quicker. Should be able to handle oil a little bit better than most. And the other one is a 5.5 by 5 by 4. So it's a longer pin to pap. The ball is in a little bit more stable position, but geared more towards the direction of length.
Will you explain to me what the numbers and the layouts mean?
So the first number of the Storm VLS or vector layout system is the pin to pap measurement. That's the most important number in the layout process, and that's going to control the amount of stability or instability in the weight block and kind of tells you how much flare potentially you're going to use of the ball. So it's like, again, it's the most important number. There's a good zone of where a lot of people like to stay. It's usually between 2 and 4 inches. The maximum distance you would want to go is 6 3/4 inches, which is 1/4 the circumference of the bowling ball. The bowling ball is 27 inches around, and you don't want to go longer than 1/4 in terms of pin to pap distance. So you could either put it at 0 or you could put it at 6 3/4. For this one, we're doing 5.5. So the longer that pin gets from your pap, the more tumbly the ball is going to be. The ball's in kind of a high RG orientation, which means the ball's going to take a little bit longer, a little bit delayed hook. Again, that's where the ball's going to stay online a little bit longer part comes from. The second number is the PSA to pap, or the preferred spin axis to your positive axis point. That's the third most important number. It's weird that it's in the second spot, but it's the third most important number in the layout system, in my opinion, because that controls the breakpoint shape of the bowling ball. So the pin to pap controls the flare. The PSA, or the mass bias to pap, controls the breakpoint shape, but the pin buffer, the last one, the last number, which is 4 in this case, and a 5.5 by 5 by 4, controls the transition length of the ball. Okay. So how quickly does it respond to friction when it encounters it, whether the friction is to the right or at the end of the pattern. So for this one, if we go back and look at everything, so 5.5, it's a longer pin to pap distance, so straighter through the front. 5 also kind of controls the shape. The longer that number gets, the more the ball wants to retain a little bit more energy and be a little bit sharper breakpoint shape. But then the last number, the pin buffer, in this case 4, which is a little bit on the higher side, has a longer transition zone. So everything about that layout says you'll be able to keep the ball in front of you and do what you like to do best, which is down and in.
Awesome. So what's different between that ball and the first one you laid out?
So 4.5 is in a little bit more aggressive position, pin to pap wise. It's closer to your pap, so the weight block is in a more unstable position. We're going to be using a little bit more of its flare potential that's built into it. A 5-inch PSA to pap versus a 4-inch PSA to pap. So the 5 is going to be a little bit longer. It's going to give the ball a little bit more shape down lane. And then the 4-inch pin buffer versus a 2-inch pin buffer. 4 inches is obviously longer. This actually, we're going to drill that pin out. It's going to be in your middle finger. And this one, you're still going to see it up above the ring finger. So the higher the pin gets, the quicker the transition zones happen. So this one's going to get forward a little bit quicker. And then the 4-inch PSA to pap is, again, going to stay online a little bit longer and help you play a little bit straighter.
Okay, awesome.
All right, Nichole, they're ready for you. 2 different layouts, 2 different everything. So we're gonna bowl on this 42-foot carbon pattern. It's 10-to-1, it has a lot of friction to the right, so we should be able to see a good change of direction when the ball kind of encounters it. But let's throw that one first and then see what happens.
All right.
I think I've seen many people hit the pocket as often as you had today with that ball so far. So now that was the pin in the ring
Right.
ball. So it was a longer pin to pap, it was a longer buffer. What did you see with this type of layout on this ball?
It definitely plays a lot straighter and hooks a lot later down the lane. So it's pretty smooth down the lane.
Where would you see yourself using it? On the fresh or the burn?
Yeah, probably after a couple games when it dries out.
Yeah.
It's a pretty predictable and smooth roll. So.
Be able to keep the angles shut down and in front of you more.
Yeah.
Would you change the surface at all? Do you think it needed anything to fit your style?
I think I'd throw it just like that.
Just out of box
Yeah.
wasn't, I mean, again, you hit the pocket quite a bit. So.
Yeah.
Now the other ball, the pin up ball, is a shorter pin and it's a shorter buffer. So it's going to be able to handle the heavier load, maybe set it down a little bit deeper into the launch pad built into the pattern. But you should see a quicker change of direction with it. But let's see you get some shots on it and compare the two. So how much did you have to move your feet?
About 5 boards to the left.
You just automatically moved 5 boards. It was a good guess because it went through the pins nicely.
Yes.
So overall, big difference between the two. Where would you see yourself using that one compared to the pin in the middle finger?
That one definitely feels like a first game ball. It's got a lot more back end, it seems like.
Yeah.
So probably throw it sooner than the first one.
A little stiffer change of direction. So
Yeah.
would that, you'd say that'd be your ball 1, this would be like your ball 3
Yeah.
or 4 when you need to really keep it straighter. All right, awesome. Well, that looks great. Thanks for bowling. I'm excited to drill one. You convinced me. You made me a believer. So I think I'm going to go pick one out now.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. I hope everyone found out today that layouts in this case do matter. Lower pins do go longer. So there's that. Make sure that you go check out your local Storm VIP Pro Shop today so they can tailor a layout to your Excel just for you. Full of Storm.